Hello there. Wait, that's the other guy. Anyways, hello, it's been a while. Yes, update on the Mandalorian armor, the heavy Mandalorian armor. As you can see, we've got progress. I've got my trusty blaster done here, and the armor, at least all the rigid parts from about the waist up, are done or near done for the most part. So let's go over where we've gone so far, what's been done, what still needs to be done, and my thoughts on doing my own set of custom armor for the first time, because this is the first time I've done any of this. So let's get started. So first things first, the helmet's off because it is hot. I did about 2 or 3 intros there. And yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out some cooling. That's a future Taylor problem. So the Mando armor, as you can see, we've had some progress. I think in the first video, the helmet wasn't finished. That's done. We've got pretty much all the rigid stuff from the waist up done. And even the blaster is done. Nothing from the waist down except for my boots are done though. So we'll cut the camera off there. But yeah, progress is coming along pretty good. I've learned a lot so far. A lot of little tips and tricks I picked up along the way. For those that don't know how I'm doing these parts, everything is printed in either ABS or ASA on either my Vorons. The blaster itself was printed mostly on my Bamboo Lab X1 carbon, and some of the taller parts were printed on an FL-Sun V400, but everything's ABS or ASA, which means when it comes to sanding, I found a lot of these parts I could take straight out of the machine and go right to sanding, priming, sanding, texturing, paint. I didn't really have to do a lot of Bondo work. I know if you go online, watch a lot of videos, everyone's covering everything with like the Bondo putty filler to smooth out the layer lines. ABS and using I used a Black & Decker mouse for some of the big flat parts. It sands actually really good. And you can acetone weld it, which this chest piece here was printed out of 4 parts. It's acetone welded together, and you can see a line across it, but that's part of the design. But otherwise, you can't really see the split down the middle, for example. So I'm really happy going with the ABS ASA route and with the texture. The texture allows me to hide pretty much any of the minor slight imperfections that you're gonna spend that last couple hours chasing, finishing up a part. So skipping all that and going right to a finish that I actually really like, this kind of textured finish. It looks like a cast or a machine look. I really dig it. And with this light and the metallic paint, even after doing the black acrylic wash, I'm really happy with how it's turning out. So I haven't just been painting parts. As you can see, I'm actually wearing some of the suit. So we are getting to that point. Gloves. These are leather, actually I think they're pigskin leather gardening gloves. I got them because they come up to about here, which allows me to put the gauntlets on over. Back of the hand parts, Velcro. There is a lot of Velcro holding this on. In fact, everything here that you see is held on with Velcro. Shoulder pads, Velcro, everything's Velcro. It's great because it allows you to put everything on piece by piece. For example, the shoulder pads are kind of a pain to put on with the chest piece in the way. Well, the chest piece, I'm not gonna take it off now. It's just stuck onto the suit with Velcro. I'll show you in a minute. I haven't really finished the left gauntlet yet. This is the one that comes with the suit of armor, the STLs that I purchased from the Galactic Armory. But this is supposed to have a flamethrower on it, and I don't know if I want to go with a big bulky one or go with like a more slimline one. So I haven't finished this yet because I might swap it out to a different one. And speaking of swapping out parts, this chest piece here, from the abs up, this isn't from the Galactic Armory set of heavy Mando armor. This is the chest piece that I actually printed that came with the set. And even after cutting out a bunch of materials, I'm not that thin. I like to think myself as within average weight, maybe a little on the heavier side, but there is no way in hell that this was going to fit around my waist. I am, currently on a diet. I'm doing okay, but I didn't want to wait a year to fit into this. And again, I hogged off probably about 1.5 inches of material here to try and even get that on. Yeah, no. So I ended up finding a different set of chest armor on Etsy. If you go on Etsy, there's a lot of people who design Mandalorian style armor that you could buy completed parts, like printed parts or STLs. This whole chest assembly is from that I printed and then finished. I do like this one a little bit more. It's a little bit broader. Other tips. Velcro is your friend, foam is your friend. A lot of these pieces I bumped out with some 1/2-inch foam, and this is actually just foam from one of the printers that I got, shipping foam. And what that does is it basically gives you some extra bulk to kind of give you a beefier look. So glue on 1/2-inch foam helps a lot with the chest piece too, because the chest piece is pretty thin. So putting a layer of 1/2-inch foam between the armor and your body just gives you a bit bulkier of a look. I really like how that turned out. And let's take some of this off here. So again, these are just Velcro. I did do some weathering on the gloves by basically taking a lighter to them to kind of give them some burn marks. And also, while most of it is printed on my FDM machines, some parts are printed on resin. So for example, on my wrist gauntlet here, this antenna thingy here, that's resin, it's circular. It's easier to print on a resin machine. And then also, I'll come back to the blaster in a minute. The sight parts on the blaster, they're much more detailed. I did those on a resin machine as well, just so they would come out in higher detail and would be a little bit stronger. I tried FDM, some of the little parts kept breaking, so I went resin with that. Now, as I touched on earlier, everything is attached to the flight suit, which is coveralls essentially, by Velcro. So it just comes off. This vest right here is a cheap, generic AliExpress plate carrier. I've gone and cut off all the pockets, and even on the flight suit, I've removed a lot of the sewn-on pockets, and apparently you have to glue up or sew up all your waist pockets as well, because Mandalorian flight suits don't have pockets apparently. So I will be doing some more modifications to this vest to make it a more Mandalorian style flak vest. Currently, all I've done is remove the pockets and attach some Velcro. That's one thing I have to get started on, is sewing. There's several things I have to sew still with the flight suit, with this vest, and a few other things. I've been putting that off as long as I can. Gorilla fabric adhesive has kind of helped me a bit, but I can only put it off for so long. Going back to how things are attached, this is the opposite of my front chest armor here. As you can see, I do want movement. I want to be able to move around. We have the Velcro here that everything, you know, attaches with, but only this top piece is currently attached. The abdomen pieces, they're held on with the stretchy, and this allows it to move around, give me a little bit more freedom of movement. It's not as rigid, and it works out pretty well. This is all attached with E6000. That's been the adhesive I've been using for gluing pretty much everything together, is E6000. I have used some hot glue in a pinch just to attach stuff quickly, and then I go over it with E6000 just to make sure it's really locked down. But it works out really well, and by having everything Velcroed on, it allows you to put it on in pieces, easily remove stuff. It's going pretty well. I do wear a neck gaiter when I wear the helmet on, and this is simply by the fact that I got a nice beard here. Mandalorians can't have your beard here sticking below the helmet, and also it hides the neck, so you don't see any skin when I'm wearing everything. The helmet. Here's the problem. I am a YouTuber. I keep forgetting I am a YouTuber. So when I finished up the helmet, I did that in one night, and I forgot to pretty much record everything. So the paint process is the same as everything else. Paint, sand, or prime sand, texture, paint, do a black acrylic wash just to give it a worn and weathered look. The earpieces were not textured, so they involved more sanding to get them flat. A few highlights with the blue there. Everything's attached with E6000. The mask, Bobart, grinding shield tinted mask. So it's a slight green mask, but you don't see that really looking directly from the front, only really when you're looking through it. It's got a slight green tinge to it, but it's relatively thin. It's easy to cut. People can't see your eyes through it, and it's held in with steel stick. So unfortunately I didn't record it, but basically cut bigger than you need and just kind of walk it in, trimming little by little, because if you cut too much off, you can't add any more. And then I used some steel stick putty to hold it in place, and it's working pretty good. I bought some cheap helmet liner foam just to stick in there. I still got to play around with it to get it properly seated, but it's working good enough for now, and works pretty good. I will be putting some fans in there though, because even without the helmet, I'm starting to get warm. The blaster. Again, blaster, it's all ABS, ASA printed. This is a DC-17M from Republic Commando, although I believe it is now actually technically canon, but it's from the Republic Commando video game. I think this model is specifically from Battlefront 2. This is also a Galactic Armory model. Again, the sights, they are resin printed. I've gone over same process for painting it, except no texturing. There is, however, on the grips here and on, I guess this would be the buttstock, although this is, maybe with armor, it acts like a buttstock. Bed liner, just for a little bit of grip, a little bit more of a textured look. The blue is just metallic blue paint. And one thing I've done is, and this is part of the model itself, is the magazines, or ammo packs, I guess they're called, are magnets. So I build Vorons. I have a ton of 6x3mm magnets, 2 in the ammo pack, 2 inside the frame there, and it's basically enough to keep it from falling out. I've also printed some additional ammo packs, and one thing I've currently done is I'm waiting on the belt to come in, but for the belt, I'm gonna have some magazine pouches or ammo pack pouches. This is just a design I found on printables for an AR-15 magazine, I believe. These ammo pouches, I did these extremely quickly because I didn't know how they would turn out if I was gonna use them. And I tried to do these as lazy as possible just to see how it would turn out. So I printed these, took them right out of the printer, no sanding, no priming. I immediately put several coats of the texture on it because I wanted to have like a rubber look. After that, I hit them with some highlight paint very quickly for the silver here. Gave it a dirty wash just to kind of make it look a little used, and then put the webbing through just so it is a little stretchy and it does hold the magazine. And that's about it. These took maybe about 10 minutes of work each for 2 of them. Very easy to do. So yeah, that is the current state of the armor. I know it's been a month. Why is it not done? I've had a few people ask why it's not done. I'm just working on this on my free time here and there. Some days I don't even touch it. Some days I just work on it for 10, 15 minutes. And then some days I just sit down in an entire afternoon and finish off the blaster, or we do it on stream, which if you're not watching the streams, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Not only do we kind of do stuff like this, we build printers and we do other things. We've got a Death Racer build coming up very soon. So yeah, so it's coming along. I'm having a ton of fun doing this. Why am I doing this? Because I want to. I've had 3D printers for years and I've never actually done a big project with them other than build printers, and I figured, hey, it's about time. Another thing people have been asking is if I'm gonna try and get it MMC, Mandalorian Mercs. It's basically the Mandalorian equivalent of the 501st. If I'm gonna try and get this suit approved, I am taking their guidelines into consideration while working on this. However, that's not really the goal. I don't think I have any chapters near me. There's no big events in my town anyways. So this is pretty much just for fun. So yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, if you have any questions or comments or any suggestions, because it's the first time I'm doing something like this, as always, and I'm learning, please leave them in the comments below. If you want to help support the channel, content I create, and the things I do, please check out the description as well. And while you're down there, don't forget to like that smash button. Hope you learned something new today. Hope you enjoyed the video. And as always, live long and prosper. Cheers. Whew. I'm really hoping that that audio even recorded, because I've done this intro like 3 times. I'm already sweating buckets. So, let's get this off. Yeah, see, that's what you don't see. That's what you don't see. When Batman takes his cowl off, it cuts to him clean face. Where's the eyeliner go? I think they addressed that in the new movie. But anyways, there we go. I can actually breathe.